Everybody,
What up? What up?
my name is Tim Daniel. His name is Ben Brown, and welcome to this week's edition of Late Night Reds, brought to the part of the Riverfront Media Network, brought to you by our wonderful friends over at the Blue Wire Podcast Network. This, of course, is brought to you by our wonderful friends at patreon.com/riverfrontcincy, where you also can become a member and come hang with us. We got Josh Beckley in the house tonight.
What up, Josh?
Ben,
What up, man?
how are you?
Man, I am great. How are you?
I'm good. I had a good weekend. I'd like to thank the Bengals for not losing to the Raiders today and not ruining my weekend.
Dude, what would the headlines been? Do they lose that game?
I don't know, but you know what else is awesome?
What's
I
up?
now have a job that I get to watch Donovan Mitchell play basketball every night.
Dude, he's been incredible.
Pretty fun.
Yeah, you want to talk about picking up the Cavaliers coverage at the right time? My
Yeah,
goodness, they're good.
yeah, that worked out. That worked out pretty well.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah, so obviously those who are tuned into the show on a regular know we shoot the mess before we get into Reds chat. So the big question obviously now, Ben, as someone who, like me, also very much enjoys this holiday season very much. Have you broken the seal yet? Have you played any Christmas music yet?
Ooh, I have not. However, if you go to Menards, it's impossible to avoid going to the Christmas aisle.
Mm-hmm.
We also went to Target, and we were in the Christmas aisle there too. So, have I broken the seal and played any Christmas music yet? No, but it's definitely on my radar.
Same. Yeah. So Grace and I were in Cleveland for the week. We just got back yesterday, and we were already putting together the game plan of when we're going to put the decor up. So
we've already done that. We've got a plan.
Yeah,
we got a plan in place to put everything up. That will begin next weekend. We will start with our trim and getting our trees brought up and doing all that stuff. I feel like the older I get, the earlier I want Christmas to be. So like, it used to be, oh man, I'm not going to touch it until after Thanksgiving or maybe the week after Thanksgiving. But now it's like, man, let's go ahead and let's deck the hollies, as they call it.
Yeah, it's a season, not a day. So for the whole like pro Thanksgiving people, which like, come on, let's get over it.
Yeah.
We're gonna enjoy this season. Thanksgiving's a couple days, a couple visits with the fam. So we're gonna enjoy this holiday season. So hey, today's show is gonna be pretty quick and easy. Obviously, we're at the end of baseball, so now kind of things are just kind of moving around for agencies starting in a couple days. So we're going to talk about a couple names. We're going to talk about some acquisitions that have happened so far since the World Series and kind of go from there. But I guess we'll start there. The Dodgers take 4 out of 5 from the Yankees to win the 2024 series. And I mean,
I'll say 3 out of 5 because that fifth one, boy, the Yankees gave that to them on a silver platter.
So many dumb. It looked like the Reds.
So dumb. They just look so just like you're in the World Series. Those lapses in concentration cannot happen in the World Series.
Yeah, Garrett Cole not fielding for covering first base on a ground ball to Rizzo, and it's like,
yeah. I mean, that's stuff you cover in like an 8U baseball. Like, ball hit the first. I don't care how short it is, hit the first. Like you always sprint towards first base if you're the pitcher. Now, if he calls you off, then you stop.
Right.
But like you're always sprinting.
Yeah, and the face Cole makes where he kind of just like almost to where I don't know if he was just kind of blaming. I don't think he was mad at it. Kind of think he was mad at Rizzo, actually.
Yeah, and I don't understand that. Like it's a measurement thing. So you've got to know anything hit that way that far off is going to be a stretch, especially with the guy that was running the first base who can move. So like you can't just assume that he's going to make that play and he didn't charge the ball. So when you throw that ball, you see he's not charging, automatically you should be breaking towards first. I don't even know what stopped him from going to first.
Yeah. Real question.
Mm-hmm.
The fan that took the ball out of Mookie's glove.
Yes.
Do you love it or are you like, he's an idiot? I think I'm both.
I'm a little
but I'm
both.
so glad he did it.
Yeah. I'm a little bit of both. The one, like, I don't like when that kind of interaction with players happens because that was a little violent. Like the one dude
Mhm.
grabbed his arm, the other dude was pulling out his glove. So, do I like the passion that you have for being a Yankees fan? Yeah, I do. But sometimes just some things cross the line a little bit. So, yeah, I kind of sit on the fence of it. Like, but I'm not a big fan of people reaching out and grabbing
Yeah.
players and things like that. But you know, a guy cost himself probably about $4,500 in ticket seats, and I did hear that those tickets went to a cancer patient,
Oh.
a young man and his family. So I did hear that. So there was a positive out of it. Um, but he'll probably lose his seats this year and probably next year. You can't go reaching over and grabbing baseballs out of Mookie Betts' glove.
Do you think that when it happened, Steve Bartman just sat in his backyard and lit a cigar and was like, no one cares about me anymore. I can
Yeah.
breathe again.
Yeah. I think that happens. And Bartman was like, "You're right." He's sitting back. He's like, "Yes, I'm finally off the hook."
It's like it's not my fault. The Cubs have won a series, and there's
Yeah.
this idiot.
It's not me. It's not me. But yeah, man, you can't go reaching in the gloves and stuff like that. Like that's that part of me. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of over the top.
Yeah.
I'm all for being a Yankee fan and things like that. But once you start touching players, just like in basketball, when a guy runs into the fans and you see the basketball guys always get cussed at and heckled. I'm like, yes, you pay good money to sit in those seats, but you can't call people out of their name or talk about their families and stuff like that. Some things are just kind of over the line.
Yeah, I was at that Pacers-Lakers game a couple years ago when those two fans sitting courtside told LeBron, "I hope Bronny dies in a car wreck."
Yeah.
I was
Like
at that game. That was
yeah.
that was awkward.
Yeah, that stuff is a bit wild. So
Yeah, we don't have to do that. We don't have to do that by any means.
mhm.
Yeah. So I want to make sure we just kind of touch real quick. Have you watched any of this Red Sox documentary yet on Netflix? I've not watched any of it yet.
No, I have not. I haven't
Okay,
had a
so we
chance
can't
to
talk
actually
about it yet.
watch it.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm excited to watch it, but I still got 2 episodes left of starting 5, and I can't watch 2 things at once on Netflix. It just
No, I get it.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nick Couch asked, "Did you guys go to the Pete Rose tribute?" I did not. Has it happened already? Was it this week?
I think so.
Okay.
I was not able to.
Yeah. To be honest, if I was able to, I wouldn't have gone.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. All right, man. So as we kind of get to this point, a few transactions have happened. We're going to talk about some names that have been linked to the Reds and also some names out there for free agency as well as we kind of count down the days. I absolutely love Tito showing up in the DR, hanging out with Ellie and Candyman and Noelvi.
Yep.
I thought that was awesome. I think Tito got an Instagram account, by the way.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, I
like
did
all
see that.
in. He's all for it. He's dressed up. Was it Bluey? Did he dress up as Bluey for Halloween?
Yes, yeah, he did.
Dude, I mean, this is the manager of my heart. This is the guy I wanted, and he's dressed like Bluey. I mean, come on now. This is perfect. All right, so I'm going in the order of the Reds Twitter account right now. So this is not going to be in chronological order of how things happened.
Yep.
But we'll go big picture at the end. So Emilio Pagan exercised his option for 2025, so he'll be here.
Yep.
Austin Wynn selects free agency. I think a lot of people are going to forget Austin Wynn's played for the team.
Yeah.
Brent Suter signs back for a 1-year deal with a club option.
Yep.
So for 2026. Luke Maley gets his club option declined. Jacob Junis declines his mutual option. Nick Martinez obviously declines his mutual option. TJ Antone and Austin Wynn are sent outright to Louisville. Ty France and Nick Martini also outrighted. Ty France and Nick Martini elected free agency. TJ Antone accepts his assignment. Christian Rua goes to the Marlins. I think that is everything. Nope. Well, I guess all that really matters. Ahmed Rosario was designated for assignment. So big picture, there's not one. There's not a big picture.
Yeah.
This is just kind of, it does open up backup catcher now, which kind of excites me in the sense that I think that, I mean, realistically, if you're getting a backup catcher, not going to play a lot, obviously, but you probably want to get a guy who can at least give you a good at bat.
Yep.
And Sparn, Ty Steve to have a day off here and there.
Yep.
So I like that. Pagan, I think it was definitely worth another shot. I'm glad he's going to see what he can do next year if he's healthy through the year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really happy Brent Suter's back.
Yes, me too.
So that's big time for them as well. And oh yeah, Cindy, we'll get to that as well. And I think that it's kind of putting some pieces together, but obviously this is just kind of what day 1 and day 2 of free agency are like. Is there anything that you're like gung ho? The Nick Martinez one's a bummer, but we knew it was going to happen. I just, like I said,
big one was Ty France. Like, I know we talked about him before, but I'm kind of glad the Reds did that. I don't think he's $8 million worthy. So if he comes back, it's fine. I just don't want him back at $8 mil.
Yeah, I do love.
Jeff Carr mentioned that as well. Like Jeff Carr kind of said the same thing. He was like, He's like, it's nice to have a bat, like nice to have a guy like Ty France, but not for $8 mil.
Yeah, absolutely. I did really like the TJ Anto situation where he can still rehab in the system while he's recovering from Tommy John.
Yeah.
So he can kind of be at the complex and still work out here and still collect a paycheck. So good for him. I'm really happy for him.
Yeah, good for the Reds too. I mean, that's
good stuff.
Cool. Yeah,
that's good stuff for sure. So yeah, man, I think now it's kind of you turn the corner to what's next. But I do want to make sure we mention, because the Riverfront hasn't had a show between all of our shows for the last couple of weeks, just kind of, like I said, recharging our batteries. Chris Faleka, now the Reds hitting coach.
Yeah.
And we would have talked about this last week, but we didn't do a show last week, obviously. We don't have to get too deep into it because it's already been talked about everywhere.
Yeah.
But one of my guys that from those early 2010 teams I always thought was going to be really, really good and had one of the weirder injuries that I remember. But success shows that he did a pretty good job in Cleveland as the hitting coach there. Now, everyone's kind of giving him credit for the lack of strikeouts there, and I understand that and should get that. But also, there's a lot of that also has to do with the player that's at the plate and their decision making. So kudos on that. And I think he's a good hire. I think he's definitely going to be a nice upgrade for this team as they get with these younger guys. Yeah. And also, it doesn't hurt that he's a former Red. And I should have put the picture aside, but I met him at Reds Fest in 2010, and he was super nice to me. So we're cool.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe we can reach out and get him for an interview. But I think it's a good thing when a guy has had proven success in other spots as far as being a hitting coach. He's familiar with Terry Francona. He's familiar with the Reds organization. So it's always good that I think that's an upgrade, bringing a guy with fresh eyes and a fresh view to some young players that let's be honest, had some struggles at the plate with some plate discipline issues and things like that. So I think that's always a good thing when you have somebody come in from the outside in who's familiar with the manager and with the club. So that's always good.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm excited about it. Let's kind of go real quick, and we'll go through some of the big league news as well that has been going around, so we can just get it out of the way of these bigger names. So Juan Soto says he's open to all 30 MLB teams.
Yes.
I'm going to go and say it's a wild shot. Very, very rare. Very unlikely. Very, very unlikely. He's playing for the Cincinnati Reds next year.
Yeah.
Everything but a guarantee. I think I'll go ahead and put on that.
Yeah. I mean, in theory, it's a nice thing to say, but for him, I mean, he's, because he's just coming out off of a World Series defeat. So, to him, he feels like this is an opportunity to go somewhere really that'll fit him the best and not just a move where he's another bat in a really good lineup. So I don't feel like it'll be all 30 teams, but, there'll be some suitors out there that are willing to play him a high dollar to bat third or fourth in that lineup.
Yeah.
I just don't think it'll be the Cincinnati Reds.
No, unfortunately, it will not be. I don't know. Maybe they'll make a phone call, and then once they hear the price tag, they'll probably go, all right, well, thank you. I appreciate it. So,
Yeah.
and move on. But
Yep. Yeah.
so Sydney says, I want Juan Soto to the Rockies. I think after Chris Bryant, they're never going to make a deal again. I think they're going to be like, all right, that's enough.
Yeah. That's one of those where Juan Soto's agent slides a note across, so when the Reds slide it right back, they're like, They're like, nope, we already know what's in that note. We're not anywhere close to that. But thank you for coming by. We appreciate it. Hope you enjoy the cookies.
Yeah. You know the scene in Moneyball when he's negotiating with the Red Sox and he's like,
yes.
He just looks at the piece of paper and he's like,
yep.
Yeah, that's what that's going to be. I don't know. It sounds like there's a lot of smoke to the Mets.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see the Mets. And this sounds crazy. I could see the Dodgers. I mean,
just what they need.
Let's be honest, Tim. I mean,
yeah. At this point, anyone that's good for the Dodgers,
yeah. Like at this point, they're I know the Astros need a big bat, so I could see the Astros if they wanted to spend the money. But there's a couple teams out there I think that he would fit in their lineup, and it would make them a contender automatically.
Why not just stay where you're at?
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely. I mean, you think about it. I mean, outside of Aaron Judge choking in the World Series, I mean, you've got a pretty good lineup there to kind of sit in and be what you are.
Aaron Judge in the playoffs is basically what Tracy McGrady used to be in the playoffs. It's just like, oh, this is awesome for 6 months, but we know how this is going to end.
Yeah, we know how this is going to end. And I felt bad for him because, like, I'm an Aaron Judge guy. I really like him a lot. But boy, man, he is the opposite of Mr. October. Like,
yeah, he really is.
Like, it's kind of sad to. It was kind of sad to watch. I'm like, man, for as valuable as he was to get them there, like, man, he has just struggled.
Yeah, he hit that homer and it brought his average up. It brought his OPS up to 700.
Yeah,
during the postseason. So
yeah.
That was a bummer. Speaking of the Yankees, Garrett Cole has decided to throw his name out there in the market to see what he could potentially look like, and I'm just gonna go ahead and say that also highly unlikely, all but a guarantee. He's not gonna be a Red. Not sure I want him, to be honest.
You know what? After watching his reaction to his non-play in the World Series, I'm not sure how good of a teammate he is. That kind of speaks volumes to me.
Speaks highly of a guy who got brought up in the Pirate system.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that's true too.
Yeah.
But to watch his reaction to that and want to blame the first baseman for not doing his job, like, that kind of speaks to the character of the person to me. So I don't know if that's somebody that you'd want in your organization that doesn't take responsibility and say, you know what? I messed up. I screwed up. I should have been covering first. That's something we go over and literally T-ball. So
cool. No doubt hater. That's why I like him. That's the only thing I like about him. Blake Snell, highly unlikely he's a Red. What do you mean? You don't think Blake Snell's going to want to come here? I don't know. I think he might like it. Maybe he likes Skyline Chili. Who knows?
Yeah,
who doesn't?
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. There will be a surprise signing though at some point. We'll look up like, wow. Like that's pretty big.
I think that we're gonna get to a couple of guys that were mentioned in an article this weekend here in a second. Actually, you can tell by the title if you're hanging out with us live. But I do want to kind of think about. I do think realistically they're going to go to the trade market. I think that's going to be what they try to do.
Yeah.
Nick says, you think they'll go for Santerra? I'm guessing he means Santander. I think they're going to go for Lubob. I don't have I don't have anything to say. Yes, I don't have anything to say it's happened, but if you listen to the show where Clay Snowden and I talked about it, we kind of talked about he's got 3 years left with the White Sox. Yeah. The White Sox aren't doing anything for 3 years. They're going to want to capitalize. And I think this is a really great fit for him to play center field for this team.
Yeah.
And I would absolutely love him. I I would not be against Anthony Santander. I think he's a really good player. I would prefer Tyler O'Neill if they're going to go that route as a free agent outfielder, because we've talked about this a million times. They need to completely redo the outfield.
Absolutely.
And I know people are going to not want Tyler O'Neill because he's a former Cardinal, but I'm sure he wants. I'm sure he wants. Yeah, I'm sure he wants some revenge on the Cardinals.
Yeah, I like Tyler O'Neill too. Like you said, I think he's a good fit.
Yeah, good defender, good hitter, fast. Good arm.
Yep.
I don't know about his durability. I'd have to look that up, but when you play for the Reds, there's no such thing as durability. So, yeah, you come here and your arm all of a sudden is out of socket. Which again is why you need to bring back Nick Martinez. Because
you just never know.
Yeah. He can do everything. So as far as the pitcher goes. So we'll take that for sure. I know we're moving a little quick, but we're kind of get through just a few things here before we get to the last couple topics. But Matt McLain trying out center field.
Yeah.
As you can tell by the tone of my voice, I hate it.
Yeah, not a fan.
Yeah. So I understand that he played it in college, and I'm okay with that. But where I'm not a fan of it is, why are we making room for Jonathan India? Why at this point? Because, hey, the Mariners are looking for a second baseman. Reports that came out today. I got an idea for a second baseman, and it's not Matt McLain. So, and we seem to be good trade partners with the Mariners already.
Mm-hmm.
Catch where I'm going here. I bet he would be really cool in the Pacific Northwest. I bet they'd like him there.
Oh, yeah. Do that long hippie hair. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They would love
for sure. I could just see Jonathan India driving around the streets to Seattle listening to Nirvana and Pearl Jam. I can see it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I don't mind it in the sense if it's a backup plan. If it's something where, hey, we want to, have him out there a game every few weeks. Okay. But I do not want that to be the game plan. We've been doing this now. This is where we talk about the irritation with the Reds.
Yep.
We've been doing this thing now for so long where it's like, instead of going and getting outfielders, we're just taking infielders and trying them out there. We did it this year with Santiago Espinal. It's like, you ever played quarter outfield? Cool. Right field today. And you're like,
yep.
Okay, sure.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know how much you know about this in general of just the difficulty of that, but even the move from center to a corner outfield position is really hard.
Extremely difficult.
Yeah, I talked to
the bat angles,
the
lighting angles, all the different things that come on. Like it's a completely different move.
Yeah,
to play from center to left or right. Yeah,
Josh says it's not just so McLain gets the bats in the ears and falling. I hope so. I absolutely hope so, because I don't want that to be a thing. I really don't.
I'm definitely not a fan of it. Not even in the slightest. Like I just think that I think that you have so much good chemistry and consistency with McLain and De La Cruz that you can really kind of solidify your infield. Playing center field is not easy. Making that move is not easy. You want guys that have been there and done that on a professional level on every day. You got to have that consistency in your outfield to be able to win games and be solid defensively. Like you can't just keep flipping guys and saying, "Oh yeah, well." I think Sydney just brought up Spencer Steer. I'm like, what do we like? That project is, to me, it's not been great. Like we keep flipping him back and forth. We keep moving him from infield to outfield. Then he's at third. And I'm like, it's great to be a utility guy, but dude, you got to get some consistency there. Like you can't just keep flipping guys and expecting them to be great and for us to be great defensively. Like it just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, and I do also want to make mention that his injuries this year were his shoulder and his oblique. Mm-hmm. Not something you would have in center field.
No.
You see what TJ Friedel's doing out there, basically running through walls and getting hurt. You want to throw him that there? I'm not into it. So hopefully it is just a fall league thing, just to get his ABs. Like I said, I do respect the fact he played that at UCLA for a short time. And I think it's important to note, I don't believe this is the case. And I know you don't either. Mm-hmm. But just got to be realistic and play both sides here. There's a possibility he's really that was a flash in the pan thing. There's a possibility he's not good, right? We don't have.
Oh, there's always a possibility. Absolutely.
Do I think that's the case? No, not at all. I think he's going to be very good, but we got to be realistic here. And I think after the Senzel thing, where Senzel just ended up not being a solid major leaguer, and we all know how painful it is for me to say. But if Senzel's playing one position and you're not moving him to 7-8 different places, good possibility his career's different, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. The consistency is key, man. Like and I know it's people don't understand that because it's just different. But when a guy knows that he's playing second base every day and he doesn't have to worry about, oh man, I need this, I need to do this, now I got to play left field and I got to prepare myself for this, that, and the third. Like, it makes a huge difference on you, not only just your gameplay, but your psyche. Like, it's just, man, I can't get any consistency.
Yeah. And let's just go ahead and make sure we say this before we get it out there. We're going to say it all off season. No Elliott center field. Okay. We don't want to hear it.
Yeah. You can go ahead and put a stamp on that. And we can make that the topic of every podcast this offseason. Whatever we're going to talk about, also, Ellie's not going in center field. You can just go ahead and add it to the tagline of our show.
Yes, absolutely. Side note, completely off topic, but I just want to make sure I got this out there before we go to our next topics here. So, old Tom has been back doing college football games. He's coming to a game this week, and there's a Castellanos playing.
Really?
Huh. Really hope there's a deep throw down the left field sideline. Yeah. So Tom's been calling games for the CW. Okay. But yeah, there's a Castellanos play. I can't remember who the team is, but I don't care.
Yeah, I was going to say,
there's like 900 college football teams and like 6 matter. Like,
yes. Yeah, there's a ton.
So,
absolute ton.
Right. So we'll kind of go leave it there and let you all have your fun with that. So, okay. The topic for today. I know like I said, we're moving quickly. Sydney said Boston College. Of course, Sydney.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, there you go.
I want to talk about some things that came up this week. And Mark Feinsand, I'm probably not saying his last name right, but MLB.com had his article about the top 25 free agents plus one bonus is what he said. And what he was kind of talking about is he was rating the top 25 free agents, as explained. And then he listed potential teams that could target them. Juan Soto obviously has the Giants, Mets, Yankees. You get the idea, right? Corbin Burns, he has the Mets, the Orioles, the Red Sox, et cetera, et cetera. So the Reds were listed attached to two players, and I wanted to kind of discuss them. And obviously, if you look at, like I said, if you're hanging out this live on YouTube or you're listening to the episode later, you know who one of them is. And so I wanted to make sure we got this out there. At 12, he had Shane Bieber, the 30-year-old right fielder. Bieber's 2024 season ended after only 2 starts as the former AL Cy Young Award winner underwent Tommy John surgery and is expected to be silent until the middle of 2025. The right-hander could sign a backloaded incentive-laden 2-year deal as he returns from his elbow surgery. Potential fits are the Guardians, the Rangers, and the Reds. And so, Ben, I wanted to bring Shane Bieber to this conversation because he's a name that's been linked to the Reds quite a few off seasons now. As Chad has talked about multiple times on his show, the Reds very well had a great chance to get Shane Bieber a couple years back before he blew up, but Bob and Phil would not sign off on trading Billy Hamilton for him. Looks bad now, doesn't it? Looks pretty bad. But the thing here is there's 2 sides to this. So I'm kind of curious what side you're on. And what I mean by that is, yes, big picture, unbelievable pitcher. One of the best American League pitchers in the last decade. Cy Young Award winner, has pitched in a lot of huge games, has been in the postseason many of times, and just a guy is going to give you a hell of a game every 5th day. So that's the plus of it. The minus is obviously Tommy John surgery.
Yes.
Probably not going to see him till June or July. And the other plus is probably not going to spend a ton of money on him.
Yeah.
Also has a really good relationship with Terry Francona,
Yep.
obviously.
Yep.
The other minus is, what if he comes back and it takes him a while to find his groove? I think he's super talented. Obviously, he's done a lot of awesome things in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I lean on, if it's a possibility, I would take a chance. And I know someone is going to come in here and talk about like, well, they're probably going to pay too much for him. I'm going to say this one time, this whole offseason, I don't want to have to keep saying every week. I personally do not care about salaries. I don't. I think it's dumb that we as fans care as much about salaries as we do. It's not our money.
Yep.
So who gives a shit? Sorry for
Right.
my language. But if I can get Shane Bieber for, a 1-1 even,
Mm-hmm.
I'm absolutely taking that chance. Even if it's a mutual option or a club option or a player option. If you guys I gave it a shot and it wasn't for me, I'm taking the chance for sure.
Yeah, I think you have to. The we've already talked about this, I know, a multitude of times, but the one thing that frustrates us the most about being Reds fans is that we don't take the right risk. And I think Shane Bieber is the right risk. That's
I
a
do.
guy that you can get, you can pay him. Like you said, salaries really don't matter to us as fans, but you can do a one-on-one with him. You can do a prove it deal with him. You can do all kinds of different things with him. But you bring a guy in with that kind of pedigree, who knows our manager, who has pitched in big time games, is a Cy Young Award winner, not only just as being on your staff, but being around your other young pitchers,
Yeah.
giving them advice, showing them different things, being around just a guy that's won baseball games. I think people take that for granted. That whole having somebody experienced in your bullpen or in your starting lineup or in your locker room, I think people take that for granted, because that experience runs off. Things like that run off. So I think having a guy like that, even if you only have him from June to October, to me, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Especially if you have a chance to have him and say we play well enough to make it to the postseason and we add a Shane Bieber in June. Like,
Absolutely.
it just makes perfect sense to have that guy. Now you're going into the playoffs with Hunter Green, Shane Bieber. I mean, like you've got
Brett Lauder.
Brett Lauder, Lodolo if he returns to form. Like you've got 4 or 5 guys there that you don't have to worry about a single solitary game going into a series. So to me, it's worth the risk.
Rhett the Hitman
Like you
Hart.
said, if you sign him here and it doesn't work out, then you get to the end of the season and you part ways and you go about your thing. But dude, to not take the risk of signing a guy like that, like I think you have to.
Yeah. And I'm going to go ahead and say what I said after the Francona thing came out. There's absolutely no way that he came here.
Yep.
I just have a hard time believing he came here and was content with how things are.
Absolutely.
There's just no way that he said, this is how you run things. This is what the roster looks like. Okay. There had to be some conversation. I don't have anything to prove it. There's had to be some sort of conversation that says, like, we will be aggressive.
Yes.
And Debbie points out, Krall said no big deals in the offseason. He's a liar.
Yeah.
Like, he's an absolute liar. And he should lie. He should lie. But if he just wants to shoot us down like that and he doesn't, then shame on him. And shame on the front office.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. We've talked about that before. Like, I don't think that Terry Francona would have got off his couch in Arizona where he was happily retired and said, I'm going to join a franchise that's not going to make moves, that's not going to do things the right way, that, he's going to have a hand in so much of that people won't even realize how much he's doing until it's done. And you're going to be like, ooh, like the Reds have never did a move like that before. Ooh, the Reds haven't done stuff like that before. Ooh, and you'll be like, ooh, Terry Francona's got his hands in a lot of this stuff where things were going by the wayside and things were slipping and sliding and you weren't doing things the right way. There's no way Terry Francona got off his couch and was like, I'm going to go to a franchise that's just not going to do things the right way and is not committed to winning. Like that, it just wouldn't happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So if Shane Bieber is a possibility, I have no idea if the Guardians are interested in bringing him back. I'd assume they are because they just work like that and they're successful and really good. That they probably want to keep good players, but he's on the market. So the Reds can, if the Reds can get into a bidding war for him, I would definitely like to see them give a chance. This goes back to what we said about the Francona thing. I want to get to the point where the Reds aren't just letting people not even taking a chance.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to make people say no. That's what needs to happen from here on out. You may not get every guy you offer, and that's fine. That's the way of the business. But make these guys say no. Don't just let it fly by and not take a chance.
Yep.
So it's kind of just see how that goes and kind of where all that works out. So Josh says here, and this is fair. He said the Indians didn't spend money either. He's used to that. I'm not sold they promised him anything. Fair. The Indians also develop players far better than the Reds do.
Yeah.
Far better than the Reds do. So how many guys on that current team that just won 90 games were brought up with the system? They have a couple guys they made acquisitions for, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But a lot of those guys came up in that system.
Yeah. And I think that's a lot. I think that's why he's spending so much time in the Arizona League and Puerto Rico and the Dominican, and he's visiting with players and he's doing all these different things. Like he wants to see how things are done from top to bottom. You don't take a job like this and not know the ins and outs of every piece of the fabric of the organization, where your name is now on that organization. You may not coach Chattanooga, you may not coach the Dragons, you may not coach these teams, but the first thing people think of a baseball team is the manager.
Yep.
And then they think of their best players. So, his name is on this. This is something he is signing his name and attaching it to. So I can't expect him to walk into a franchise and an organization and not have his hands on every single part of that organization from top to bottom, because now his name is attached to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, or otherwise, Arizona's really nice year round.
Sure he would. He could have played golf 365 days a year, and then not have the stress, not have the worry, not have none of that stuff. All you have to do is broadcast a couple baseball games, go play golf in the afternoons. Like he didn't have to come back to baseball. Like he didn't have to.
So, I look at him as more of a pickleball guy than a golf guy, though.
Oh, yeah, he probably can get down on some pickleball for sure.
Yeah. A couple comments I want to get to. I really like this. This is a great point. Nick says, I think how much money the Reds spend is how things work out about ballot and TV money. That's 100% a great point.
Yeah, that's great.
I guess, I don't know. It's now FanDuel Sports Network.
Yeah, it's FanDuel now.
That popped out of the blue while I was watching went to the app to watch the Cavs the other night. And I was like, oh.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, sure. Just go to Amazon already. Just do it. Come on, guys. Let's just do it. Hunter Martin, my guy, asked earlier. Bueller, 1-year prove-it deal. Wonder if why the UK fan asked about the kid from Lexington pitching for the Reds. We should have called Matt Jones back for that one. Been like, hey, Walker Bueller to the Reds. What do you think? We should get him back for that. Yeah. I'm 1,000% for giving Walker Bueller that. I mean, first off, did anyone else just see him chug a beer in a Earl Hershiser jersey at the World Series parade?
Yeah.
He'd be perfect in Cincinnati.
Yeah. How would you fit right in?
Yeah, I like him a lot. And I think that he's definitely worth a prove-it deal, because this kind of goes back to Bieber. You saw what it looks like when he is really, really good.
Yeah.
So I would really like to see, I would like to get a chance here as well. But all right, so we both say thumbs up on Bieber. I think we're both kind of okay with the Bueller idea if it pops up.
Yep.
This is where it gets interesting. You may say no to this one, but I don't know. I'm going to at least hear your thoughts. On the best of the rest on this article, they brought up another potential fit for the Reds, the Braves, and the Twins, Luis Severino. And this is what he talks about Severino. This year, he took a 1-year deal with the Mets to kind of say, hey, I can still pitch at a high level. and
Mm-hmm.
he was really good. Pitched
Mm-hmm.
182 innings. His highest he's had in 6 years was 11-7, whatever. Had an ERA under 4. So like a back end starter. I am intrigued if that's a possibility. And this is kind of like the kind of the move the Reds make, right? This is the kind of they don't draft guys. This is the kind of signings they do.
Yeah.
That's
It
what
comes
Montas
with
was,
it,
and it
yeah. Yep.
backfired. I don't know if Severino can repeat what he did last year because he was pretty solid for a really good
Mm-hmm.
team. But I'd be willing to listen to the conversation of him being in the rotation. I obviously prefer the other two guys we mentioned beforehand, Bieber and Bueller.
Mm-hmm.
But I would be okay if all of a sudden it pops up tomorrow that Luis Severino signs a 1-year contract with the Reds or something.
Yeah, that wouldn't hurt my feelings. I mean, I think that he is serviceable enough to be a back end guy.
Yeah.
Um, so, and he was actually pretty good with the Mets this year. I mean, he
He
did it.
was.
He came in and did some good things. So, and I mean, that's a playoff quality team. So, I think anytime you can add somebody that's got some playoff experience and pitching experience in the playoffs. Once again, like another veteran guy, I think that I don't think that that's a bad thing. He's proven that he can win on this level. So,
Yeah. And he's dealt with New York media on both sides. So,
mm-hmm.
I don't think he's going to have too much worries about having a conversation with C. Trent after a 6-inning, 3-run game.
Right.
I think he's
No,
going to
not
be
at
cool.
all. He'll be
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I like those names. I'm sure there's going to be plenty that popped up that we haven't thought about, especially as we're getting closer and closer to winter meetings. But it's just starting. We got 6 months till spring trading.
Yeah,
And
baby.
yeah, I can't say I'm like waiting for it already by any means. I'm really enjoying my other gigs right now. So,
yeah.
things are going really well over there. But obviously having this is like my baseball fix every week. So I definitely appreciate obviously having you guys hanging out with us in the off season on a 9:45 on a Sunday night.
Yeah, dude, we appreciate it. Thank you guys for
Chatting with
popping up.
us. And yeah, man, we took the week off last week and they're still here hanging out.
Yeah, we appreciate that. That's
I don't know.
awesome.
Why are people here? What's the Sunday night football game tonight? Is it a good game?
Oh, I don't know.
Probably not if they're hanging out with us, which, hey, that's fine.
We'll take it.
The Colts and the Vikings. Yeah, I see why you guys are hanging out with us. So, yeah.
And the Colts are winning at halftime 7-0. Jeez, Pete.
With Joe Flacco.
With Joe Waka Flacco.
Yeah. And the touchdown is a defensive touchdown.
Dude, that is trash.
That's why you're hanging out with us tonight.
That is trash. Vikings are turning back into pumpkins, Hunter. You're absolutely right. Dude, come on. Oh man, Sam Darnold. I mean, he's 16 for 19. Oh, he's just throwing a pick though. So
yeah. I also would rather hang out with us than watch that game.
Oh
man. Well,
yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah, I don't think there's any other Reds news. I saw Debbie mention Stuart Fairchild got engaged. Congrats.
That's
awesome. Make sure I don't miss anything real quick. Why did Zach Kozar pop up when I search Reds? We don't need to ever talk about him ever. So yeah. Let's see. News, anything here? Indiana peeps in here. All right. Well, Ben, I guess we can go ahead and wrap up this week's edition of Late Night Reds. Hey guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Josh, we know, all right? We're well aware.
Oh yeah, Josh. Hey, no Colts hate. I don't have an issue.
No Colts hate. No Colts hate at all.
Yeah. I don't have no Colts hate.
We're more mocking Joe Flacco versus Sam Darnold on primetime television.
On primetime television, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. And shout out Indiana football being good. That's been fun to watch.
Yeah. Oh man, they're legit. That makes me a little nervous.
Well, they score like 90 a game. It's like their basketball team. It's like they just run a fast break the whole game.
Yeah, just insane.
Yeah, they're fun. But hey, we'll go ahead and wrap this week's edition up of Late Night Reds. Thank you guys, as always, for hanging out. We definitely really appreciate that of you guys around here. So we are really excited for the offseason. We're excited for the Francona era, as you can tell. And we're going to be here normally each and every week, barring anything else going on, to report on anything that comes out in any news as well. So on behalf of Ben Brown, I'm Tim Daniel. Thank you all for hanging out. Have a good week, and we'll see you next Sunday.
See you guys.